At the outset of the Revolutionary War, the Continental Army had a choice to make. Congress could either appoint George Washington, whom we've all heard of, as the commander of the armies, or they could choose another individual by the name of Charles Lee, who also had a distinguished military career. They wound up choosing George Washington, who is from Virginia, because they felt like he would be the ideal leader, not only because of his experience, but because it was a political move. He was born in the continent. He was from the South and could unite northern and southern forces in this army to fight for American freedom for the United States. And General Lee was not happy about this. He felt like he should have been the one that was chosen. Ultimately, Washington would have him appointed as the second in command, even named a fort after him. And as the war is getting started, though, what Washington doesn't know is behind the scenes, General Lee is sowing discontent. He's talking about Washington behind his back, about how incompetent he really was and how inadequate he was, indecisive, all of these different things that he would accuse Washington of being. He would delay responding to Washington's messages. When Washington asked him to come and join him in the battle, it took him too long. In fact, he stopped somewhere to visit a tavern and find the company of women there. And it was there that he was actually arrested by British troops. Earlier, he had actually told the British how they could defeat Washington. Now, Washington didn't know about this. And when they finally arrived, Washington sent Lee and his troops into battle at Monmouth. After just one volley, and with the British retreating, General Lee took his forces and started to retreat. Even though the British were retreating, now he's retreating his forces. It was clear that he was throwing the battle. He met Washington, and in front of everybody, Washington chewed him out royally right in front of the troops. He wound up being arrested. He wound up being charged with insubordination. And he was given that court-martial, that dishonorable discharge of all dishonorable discharges. He was court-martialed, and Congress would not overturn it when he challenged it. And he winds up dying 2 years later in his own estate in shame. You know, in the end of time, and as history continues to go on, there's going to be some things that happen. And not all of it is dissimilar to what I've just mentioned. When we come to Matthew chapter 24, and this is what we're going to talk about this weekend on Sabbath at the Apopka Seventh-day Adventist Church, we come to Matthew chapter 24, starting in verse 9. We read things there like, you'll be arrested, you'll be persecuted. This is talking to disciples like you and me, except it was his original disciples at the time. You will be persecuted, arrested, and killed. You will be hated all over the world because you are my followers. Many will turn away from me and betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. Sin will run rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved, and the good news about the kingdom will be preached throughout the whole world so that all nations will hear it. And then the end will come. I look at this and I see this part that talks about the one who endures to the end. You know, I see different pressures happening here. We have pressure from the outside. There will be people that will say that true followers of Jesus are the ones that are causing the societal downfall. You might have people from the inside that are offended at what you believe. They may take it personally somehow, and they may turn against you, or they may be talking behind your backs or something like that. You have deceivers that show up and tell you that you're doing it wrong even though you're following the Word of God, and they want you to do it a different way and even entice you to sin. You have different things happening. The love will grow cold. And we have all of these different pressures. You know, Washington faced pressure. It was hard. But George Washington endured to the end of the Revolutionary War, and because he did, and because they stuck it out, we have the country that we have today. It's not perfect. There's going to come a day when even this country is heading down a path that followers of Jesus may not be able to walk on. But he stuck it out. And what I see here, it says, the one who endures to the end will be saved. How do we do that? I believe there's different ways we do that, but just to narrow it down into a shortened form, stay faithful to the Word. Stay faithful to the Word. The entire Word of God helps us to know right from wrong. It helps us to understand what the right path is so that we stay on it when we're challenged to go other ways. It helps us to know that it's not we who are causing society's downfall. It helps us to know that that's sin that caused that, and what we are on is on the path of redemption. It helps us to focus on the gospel and on Jesus and his salvation. When things get rough and we are able to focus on the goodness of God, the love of Jesus, and what he's done for us, and the fact that he has won the ultimate victory, no matter what happens to us, he's coming back again. And it's going to take us to be with him forever. So focus on the Word. No matter what pressure is coming, focus on the Word. Stay in prayer. Endure, because God has given us the gospel and God has given us a mission to share the gospel to the whole world. It's not a matter of if we share it. It says it will be shared. It will be preached. The best way to endure is to become partners. Share your love for Jesus. Share that gospel in you with others. And then the end comes and we've been partners with Jesus and we get to be with him forever. I hope that's encouraging to you. We're going to expand on that tomorrow at the Apopka Seventh-day Adventist Church. Services start 9:45. We have praise and prayer time. We have our Sabbath school study, our Bible studies that break out after that. We come back together for some more singing, 11:05. We'll have a little bit of time in between there and when the service starts about 11:10, 11:15. And we just look forward to worshiping with you. Stay in the Word. Stay in prayer with God. Stay faithful to the gospel mission. And I just pray that the end comes soon so that we can be with Jesus forever. God bless you.